Welcome back to another episode of Business Journey Unlocked. Today I'm joined by Kinjal Shah, founder of Global Maven. Kinjal works closely with engineering leaders, project teams, product teams, and operators who are making decisions towards technical architecture across embedded systems with AI and data infrastructure. Kinjal, welcome to the show. I'm going to turn it over to you to explain what you're all about.
Hi, Kevin. Thank you for inviting me. So, yeah, you explained it very well. What so I have my company Global Maven, and what we do is we focus on uh, providing operational efficiency. So that involves in any field. So they are basically helping our customer and complete product development. So from idea to delivery to the execution part and complete the development. So that's what we do in one line, I would say. Now it and includes everything. So sometimes operation efficiency might be in devices and apps. So that's where we provide IoT devices, AI developed devices, and as well as sometimes it's SAP efficiency, SAP product, right? There's somewhere where they need SAP involvement, SAP enhancements. So yeah, that's what we do in very brief. We have our company, we have our partners in different parts of the world, and we try to provide our customers with international exposure and this different perspective in different markets as well.
The biggest thing that I'm always interested is why'd you start the business? I'm not too sure if you saw any technical problems in your area that you were solving time and time again that needed to position you with Global Maven. I'm not too sure if there's anything that was urgent in the market that you saw that you decided that this project, this specific areas of opportunity is something where you could position yourself as the founder with Global Maven. Was there anything in that you saw which later turned to Global Maven?
Let me go back a little bit. So I come from an engineering background, and I worked for a very brief time in an analytical company. So in my period of time, I understood that data plays a very important role. And after that, my father, I come from a family business background. So once I joined my father, I realized that there are industries where uh, there's the clarity about data, the clarity about how data can improve efficiency. It's not, it's not more. It's not up to the mark to improve quality and quantity and so on, right? So that's where I understood that it's very important to provide operational efficiency. There are industries, there are customers, there are companies who require uh, efficiency in terms of product development, in terms of speed, in terms of feasibility of the development. I mean, it's not enough to have just an idea. We focus on innovative products, but it's not enough to have an idea. It should be feasible. Uh, it should be quick enough to develop, and the errors or the accuracy is very important. So working with my father, it helped us to give birth to the our company like Global Maven, and that's how I started Global Maven over here in the United States.
Going on the data infrastructure, the systems, and the AIs in place, a lot of people tend to essentially try to implement those systems in the quickest way possible. Shortcuts are very tempting, but if you have the wrong coding, if you have the wrong API keys, if you have just the wrong technical infrastructure, it can just make everything go out of whack. With that in mind, what's one engineering principle that you refuse to compromise, even if it slows down the growth, the cost is just dire, and you want to make sure everything is done to the best amount of your ability?
So something that I don't compromise over is the quality. I know it's a large term, but I'll give you an example. So let's say uh, we work, as I said, we work in different industries. We work with medical in medical industry as well to develop devices. So uh, there have been instances while developing the product where our customer needs the product in a certain manner. And even though it can be developed, we believe it's better for the customer as well to, evolve in certain attributes of the product, certain change a few things just to make it cost effective for them, for so that it provides the same quality, it provides a better product. And there are sometimes there are operational issues that comes. I mean, if you have an idea, it plays differently in your mind in terms of a operational way. It's in the real life example, real life environment. So that's where that's something I don't compromise in. That uh, be let if even if it take time, or even if uh, even if the customer is not convinced, it's very important for me or for our company to explain where the things can be improved, where the things are added, or the things are a lot rather than what is actually required. So it can be done in shorter attributes or shorter cycles. So that's something I believe it's very important for me.
It also just depends on, as you briefly mentioned, just about the scope of what the client's looking for. You
Correct.
can have all you can have all the bells and whistles, but do they really need that? Not necessarily. Is it gonna be more effective for you to implement this stuff? Sure, maybe in a cost perspective way, but it's all about what the client actually needs. There's so many companies that just try to cookie cut their way into businesses. How does that help you? How does that help the client? It may help them in the beginning, but once they understand what these tools and systems in place actually do, it may not really be ideal to what they're currently looking for. Again, it's just going back on to the client's needs, what you can provide for them. I mean, you could build anything, you can automate anything. It just depends on exactly what is really crucial to the client's business goals at that time. That's the most important thing to take into place.
Correct. So I mean, yeah, I do agree. Because so as I said, so we also have our reusable products. So over some years, over a period of time, we have developed our own products, which we reuse it for our customers' requirement if that they can be reused. So there have been instances where we provide a better solution to the customer in terms of that is better for them in terms of quality, accuracy, and time effective and cost effective as well. Uh, of course, if the customer is good with it, by using our products and customizing them the for their requirements for their products. So yeah,
Based on where you are with the experience you've had in the past, even before with Global Maven, and just where you are as a company, a lot of things in terms of software. It's talking about how there's all this AI that can help with the coding, the back end. There's a terminology that I hear a lot in terms of vibe coding. It makes certain individuals easier to code, to implement certain processes, whether it be personal, whether it be business. So, given where you sit within your company, what's one shift that you're seeing that certain leaders are underestimating, particularly around AI, data infrastructure, just embedded systems? And what do you think that they should implement, even if it's not uncomfortable for them? As you can agree, the only time to really grow, either in a personal or professional development, is to be uncomfortable. So I'm just not too sure, given your perspective, what you see in your line of work as of now.
so in my line of work, where we I work majorly with manufacturing, with uh, pharma industry, manufacturing industry, and so it's very important right now to include AI. I mean, to have that m- first advantage of implementing first movers, I would say, advantage of implementing AI in your company, because AI is there to improve efficiency, and it's it's very important for a company, for anyone to even if it's, as you said, it's uncomfortable sometimes, right? But it's very important to include it, and let maybe through uh, any development, or There are ways that it can improve efficiency, and it's very important to include it in the regular daily life as well. I mean, otherwise, it's something AI is something that's there are some myths as well about it, but I believe it improves efficiency and speeds up the deliverables, speeds up the product development as well. So
I agree, and I'm just gonna piggyback off that. The way I personally view it, as you mentioned, it helps, it doesn't hurt. There's a lot of people nowadays that are fearful of the fact that artificial intelligence is gonna take over their jobs. Sure, it might improve and take certain jobs away, primarily from customer service, some front end stuff. I mean, you see a lot about AI receptionists, and there's just so much that is available to the general public, but there's a lot of people that don't know actually how to implement such services. The way that I view it is, if you're not using it for a professional business sense, there's really no other way that would, in some areas, benefit you, because there's a lot of people that use the LLMs in terms of their personal development, in terms of their personal areas, which I'm not saying it's a bad idea to go about, but then it turns into them over relying on those certain LLMs. What happens? They start to think in the ways that the LLMs are thinking. They over depend on it, over rely, as I just mentioned. So if there's infrastructure issue where they can't go into these LLMs, then what happens? They can't think of themselves to figure out certain tasks. That's why people shouldn't use certain LLMs or just even LLMs in general for mundane, simple tasks. It's more, as you mentioned, to streamline, to be efficient, to be operational. With that in mind, that's the most beautiful way to use it as of now. And we don't know what it could look like within the next year, within the next 10 years. AI is constantly evolving every single day, as you're aware of that, given your line of work. It's just, it's a blessing and a curse. You look at the internet, for example, right? It connected so many people, but then there are some negative attributes that happen. What negative attributes can be related to AI? As I mentioned, it could lose some jobs, but then there's so many other jobs that would come into fruition because of these areas. I mean, you see colleges now, they're talking about AI courses within their curriculum, right? There's just so much advantages, so much positive outcomes that could be laid out for using artificial intelligence, for using these LLMs, as long as they're used for the utmost, and also in terms of business development and actually how is it going to benefit you and the company? Those are the first two questions that someone could ask or should ask within their line of work and within their professional development.
yeah, I agree. I mean, every every coin has two sides, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
so it even though everyone becomes over relying, I would say it's very important to become creative. It's very important to become innovative in your thinking and to use AI in an effective manner. You need to have that thinking capabilities. You need to evolve yourself to uh, see how, rather than relying on it, how it can add as an enhancement. It should help you being better at what you do, and maybe personal or professional, or and rather than replacing it. And if you take it, if you used it, or if you apply AI with keeping these things in mind, I would say it helps a person once want to improve themselves immensely and make their work effective as well, I would say.
The biggest issue that I come across, and I'm also at fault for thinking this as well, it's just the confidentiality aspects regarding AI. There's so many areas, so many institutions that are developing AI. For example, banks. How could those LLMs, how could the coding in place, how are they certain that it's not going to leak out somewhere? Right? Now that goes into in-house teams as you have within Global Maven. There's just so many areas that could be, in a way, protected, so it's actually not going out. But that's the biggest thing that I'm seeing nowadays, just about the confidentiality aspect, because people don't know. I mean, it's still given with ChatGPT, which is oldest LLM. It was founded what in 2022, so that's 4 years ago,
Yeah.
right? There's so much different LLMs that came out of it. You talk about Anthropic, Claude, Deep AI, Gemini, like there's so many other LLMs that came into fruition because of ChatGPT, right? And as you mentioned before, it's all about enhancing your life. How could AI enhance my personal, my professional life? Now, those are complex questions to ask, but you shouldn't again go back to the mundane task. There's people that use it for what should I wear today? Does this tie match with this suit? What's X, Y, and Z? If you're using it for that sort of sense, it's not really ideal because you're not really using what God gave you, your mind. The mind's the most beautiful thing that we have to protect, especially now, given social media with the short form content, given TikTok, Instagram, also YouTube as well, and Facebook. All those have short form content. So we're just inundated with technology, inundated with all these different distractions in life. With LLMs, with ChatGPT and Claude, that could also be in term of another distraction in certain
Agree.
aspects. It's just going, and we're pretty nailing this hard. It's just going on what exactly can it enhance within your life to then figure that out and have Claude, the LLMs, actually figure that out for you. That's the biggest thing that people have to understand with using artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I mean, so let me just give you, I mean, I do agree with it. Let me just give you how a different perspective, executive, like my daily life, the industries that I work in, right? So we usually work with, one of our industry is CNC machinery and diamond cutting industry and, the manufacturing industry that involves precision. Uh, so using AI, it has helped us in predictive maintenance. It has helped us in understanding how our products are, how the cutting that takes place through these machinery, it can be more effective, more efficient, and um, which parts needs to be taken care of, or rather than just okay replace it, or rather than using AI to let's say automate the designs or automate the workflow. What we do is we work on the internal parts. So how we can improve our parts, how we can improve our work, our cutting, our engraving of the products. So that's how I feel. It should be in daily life as well. So rather than giving a generic generic questions or generic activities to do. It should be very specific. It should be used. AI should be used to improve it in like small parts, small of the of your daily life. I would say.
No, I mean that's excellent too. It going off, you have to be very super specific with using any type
Yeah.
of LLM. If you're very generic, it's going to give you generic answers. The more specific you are, the better the results will be. Going on challenges with a lot of founders that come onto the show, certain challenges within their organization boil down to a couple key areas: generating leads, sales, fulfillment, and delivery. Given where you are in the current stage with Global Maven, where do you feel the greatest tensions that arise, especially going into 2026?
Yeah. Uh, so yeah, challenges have always been has always been evolved. So I started my company during COVID times. So the challenges that I had that time, they were very different than coming from an industry that requires trust, which requires efficiency, and at that time it was very difficult, due to certain restrictions. Over these years, the major challenge that I feel is um, we are, making sure that the customer trust it's built in a correct way. What I feel is trust compounds faster than revenue for any company. So what so over these years, what we have focused on is understanding the customer's actual pain and helping them in the best way that we can. Like building a relation with the customer so that it improves the trust. So
Mhm.
because currently what is my company, we have our uh, communication and accountability in United States, and my team handles over here. But the execution part, it takes place in India, where my development team resides. And along with that, we do have our partners along with whom we work very closely in UK and Israel, and so building that trust, building that accountability with a particular customer, and as well as growing in different markets, growing in different industries. Uh, it starts from scratch because what I believe is in our industry, it works very largely on, at least in my case, it works very largely if there's word of mouth, there's accountability, there's a relation of trust, and that's where we focus on. And coming in 2026, going forward, our major focus would be how we can improve our reliability, how we can improve. I mean, growth has always been a part for any company. Growth has always been one of the focus, but other than that, I feel it's very important for my company right now to improve the efficiency more and create or have products developed which are faster in execution with faster execution, right? So that they are faster introduced into the markets.
I find that when a lot of people, a lot of companies are more focused on growth, they try to bring as many contracts as they can as possible.
Yeah.
And what happens? They burn out. They don't have enough headcount to actually facilitate the delivery part, as you mentioned. Just having the reliability within your company to relay that same message onto your clients as a whole is the best thing that any company can do. It's all about being transparent with one another. Sure, there
Mhm.
might be some contracts you may not take up because you're like, "Hey, I don't believe I can get this in the time frame that you want it for. I can try the best of my abilities, but just be transparent with you. This is what may happen." And when certain clients hear that, they respect you. Instead of being more of a service provider, you're being more as a growth partner in those aspects. And that's the best thing that anybody, any company can relay. Just having that transparent, open, honest conversation with all your clients and your team as well not only improves the efficiency, not only improves the work environment, but it also shows that you connect with people. At the end of the day, people don't buy because they buy Global Maven. People connect with people. They like what you bring to the table, not only in terms of your services, but also how you are as a person. What do you in your personality bring to the table? How can you be as transparent as possible while also delivering the results and the most amount of streamlined possibility? That's the biggest thing that certain people tend to forget, especially when they think of it as more of a company, as a well-oiled machine, because they have to remember why exactly did they start it? Why did you start Global Maven? You wanted to help certain people. You wanted to get away from what you were doing with the other company and make something of your own. And when people forget that, that's when they, in turn, develop negative experiences, negative outcomes, which in turn won't really be beneficial for the public's eye and how people perceive you and your company.
Absolutely, absolutely. So because see, over these years we have been working with different industries, so subsystems, for space industry, or we have been working in manufacturing industry, as I said earlier as well, where accuracy, precision is very important. So
Mhm.
if a customer is working with us, the customer is putting its trust, its complete trust on us. It's because his revenue, his products, it depends upon what we work on. So that's why, as I said earlier, it's very important to have that trust maintained from our side as well, being that reliable and uh, transparency. as you said, right? It's very important. So that's something that I've always worked with, and keeping in mind, and as well as I always try my team, or any if anyone joins newly, I always try to explain this. I always try to make them understand that rather than delivering fast, it's very important to deliver it efficiency, with reliability and trust to the customer.
Regardless what it is, you always have to lead by example. And that's the biggest thing that certain CEOs and founders may not articulate in the same mannerism. But if you're actually in the weeds, you're actually getting dirty, then they understand that they see that you're actually really trying, not only helping them out, but also helping the client as well. Going on facing decisions, I mean that's the biggest thing that founders, CEOs do on a daily basis. With your aspect in mind, whether any pass you go down can create a risk, right? In terms of client commitment, in terms of the technical aspect with the architecture and embedding systems with AI, data infrastructure. One small code that's wrong could just put everything out of whack. The whole framework could just fall apart. Or
Yeah.
even hiring the right certain people. As you mentioned, your execution team is in India. What certain frameworks and principles do you have to actually get the right people? Because you're not going to India every single job interview. You have certain teams in place over in India that actually are able to facilitate such actions. And once you deal with them for a certain period of time, it's going what you just said about your client relationship. It's all about having that trust. It's all about having that transparency. With that in mind, I'm just not too sure you personally, if you have some frameworks or instincts that you rely on even when the data is not properly shown right in front of you.
Yeah. So definitely. I mean, I agree that every time I cannot go and hire my team over there, but I have been lucky enough to have my team who does my work in this case, and we have various principles in mind that we because what we focus is, as I said, it's efficiency. It's the accuracy with which we provide product rather than just getting things done rather than that. So what while hiring anyone, or while working with my certain team, I make sure that they understand that even if it takes from, let's say, if they say it will take 2 days or so, right? And if they feel that okay, it will be increased, it can go to 4 or 5 days, then it's very important to get things communicated to me as well. It's very important to have all the aspects in mind while making decisions, while making project planning, and the scope of the project. Uh, so and having that and transparency with my team, because as you said, yeah, you yourself have to get things in your hand as well, right? So they have seen me working with different customers, working with in the development part as well, along with them.
One area I'm a very big proponent on is, as you just mentioned, about taking those baby steps, about just doing one thing better than you did yesterday, and it just layers brick by brick and it compounds over time. Nowadays, especially with social media, the way we are in society, everyone wants everything done as quickly as possible. How quickly can I scale my business? How quickly can I get turnover in terms of, getting client after client, right? But then that takes away, it's going to break eventually. Sure, it may work in the beginning for a short period of time, but not only is certain frameworks going to break systems and processes, but it's also going to burn you out over time. There's only so much that we as humans can do, and everyone has different scales in which their threshold is. And there's a lot of people that believe that as long if you hit your threshold, just keep on going, push through because when you're here, you can also get up to here. But given the trajectory of especially my generation, there's not a lot of people that want to put in that time and effort. There's a lot of people that just want everything handed to them. They want a silver spoon right in their mouth from the beginning. That's not going to happen. I have friends who don't even have jobs right now. They're too comfortable with where they are in their life, with their family, with their friends, playing video games all the time when they could be out networking. They could be out doing certain tasks, skills that would better themselves professionally and also personally as well. We all have the same 24 hours within the day. It just depends on how exactly are you using it to benefit yourself. And there may be days that you may want to relax. Sure, you can have those days. Not saying it's a bad day to have. You need to rest and recuperate about what you did, but it's coming from the fact that you shouldn't really dictate a bad day to a bad week. There's so many people that dictate that. Those long hours do, as we mentioned, compound. Not everything's done at once. You gotta plant the seed, you gotta water the seed, you gotta let it grow, and then you harvest it. That's the biggest thing, which is not only with business, but also with your personal life as well. For anyone who's listening or watching this, what's the best place for them to either reach out to you or to Global Maven?
First thing is through website, of course, but anyone can reach me out on LinkedIn. Uh, I love meeting new people. I love communicating.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's
that's
how, I mean, LinkedIn is a major platform to connect to anyone. So yeah,
exactly, and that's the biggest thing that I try to do with myself. Personally, for me, I'm trying to network in my personal life in terms of people who I have, joining the Chamber of Commerce. That's the biggest thing. Networking through LinkedIn. Anyone who's listening to this right now, the biggest thing you can do is just put yourself out there. Just connect with people. Just understand about why they started. Just get connected with them and see if there's anything that you can provide value to. That's the biggest thing and anyone can do within their time.
definitely.